Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Ty Dinelli. Welcome to Behind the Session. I'm just gonna pour a little drink here. This is kind of the point of this whole series, is to just like really chill out, have a good story time. So what better time to pour a drink than studio story time, okay? So thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. This is a new series I'm doing for you guys where I'm breaking down studio stories that I think are really memorable or that you guys just ask me about all the time. And today, without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into it. This is probably the session I get asked about the most. And actually it's numerous sessions, but it is with dancehall legend Popcaan. Now let's just break this down right from the start. I had never met Popcaan a day in my life before the first session that I had with him. I got introduced to him through my boy Astral, who is he's in good with like the OVO guys and that kind of thing. And we're going back to probably around, I want to say 2018, 2019, something like that, where he was actually signed to OVO. I don't believe he's signed to them anymore, but back then that was when he kind of first got on board, and he was just coming to the city a lot. He was coming to Toronto, where I'm from, and I've always been based out of Toronto. So my buddy Astral hits me up. He says, "Hey Ty, I just got word that Popcaan's in town and he needs a session. Can you set it up?" Now, this was already kind of later in the evening at my personal studio here. This is my home studio. I don't really do late night sessions just because I'm in a condo and there's issues with noise and that kind of thing. So if I need to do a session, I always outsource it to another studio here in Toronto. And I try to keep it kind of in the downtown core because that's where I am. It just makes it easier. So we got on some calls kind of right away to see what studios were available and where we could actually get him in. And a studio right on Queen Street, not too far from where I am, called Orange Lounge, was available that night. So we said, "Kate, let's lock that in." So when we got there, I was kind of setting things up. I said, "Kay, artists are always late, so let me just kind of set up beforehand." I said, "Kay, I know Popcaan's music. Let me set up the vocal chain for him first." So I decided to go with a U87 microphone, and then that went into a Neve preamp, a 1073. And then from there, we went into a Universal Audio 1176 compressor. I don't know why, but I've always like got vocal chains memorized from like bigger sessions or just memorable sessions that I've had. I don't know what it is. I just always seem to remember like the mic, the compressor I used. So with that session, that is exactly what I used. And I remember the compressor specifically because it was an older 1176. The meter actually didn't work the greatest on it. I was testing it out before Popcaan even got there, and the meter was pretty janky, I'm not gonna lie. And we'll get back to that kind of like later on in this story. But anyways, we got it all set up, everything was good to go. Pop came through, and the first session was actually, it wasn't a very productive session. And not that that's like a bad thing. Sometimes you just gotta like feel the artist out. The artist wants to feel you out, the studio, that kind of thing. So it was more of a, well, he actually brought his whole entourage to that session. And there was probably, I wanna say like 20 people that he rolled with. He rolled very deep. So the whole session, the whole start of it was just a lot of kind of chilling. Everybody was just listening to music, vibing out. There was a lot of marijuana smoked in that session. Even when everyone kind of pulled up, I think it was his manager at the time or someone just very close to him came up to me and he's like, "Hey bro, like, you smoke?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." So he's like, "Here, I got this for you." And he gave me a whole bag of weed. He's like, "Yo, roll this up. Here's some papers. Do your thing. Like, we all do our own separate thing. We want you to kind of do the same thing." I said, "Cool, I appreciate that, man." So I was sitting there rolling my own thing. The weed smoke in this place was thick, let me tell you. Super thick. And people were having some drinks and stuff like that too. And It was me, Popcaan, Astral was in the session, like in the actual studio room, taking some pictures, because that's what he does a lot of the times. He's a fantastic photographer. So we were kind of in there. His manager was in the studio, and then all his boys were kind of out in the other like lounge space. So we were kind of doing our thing there. We were playing some music, playing some beats, that kind of thing. And then instantly Pop was just like, okay, that's the beat. I want to jump on that. And he just got right on the mic instantly. I just ran through and got a quick level check right off the bat. And he's super talented, obviously. Like, you guys know him. And if you don't, you probably should go check his music out. So he got into the booth, and then again, we just got a quick level check, that kind of thing. He actually kicked people out that didn't need to be in the room, so that it was just kind of me, him, his manager. Astral was taking some pictures, that kind of thing. So anyone that didn't need to be in the room got the boot and they went to the lounge. So then we actually got to recording. Again, got a level check. Everything was all good. We started to do some actual serious recording, and we got some good stuff done. Like, the vibe was really good. He would come in and out of the booth. He was smoking like just blunt after blunt after blunt. I'm telling you, the weed smoke in that room was insane. They probably had to air that place out for like days after that, especially when all his boys were in the next room, just like in the lounge, all kind of rolling up as well. I had my own little thing. It was a good vibe. And to go off of that, even though he was smoking like super heavy, his energy was still really high. When he got on the mic, he didn't sound lazy or anything like that. He was projecting his voice really well. Everything was very clear and crisp, and just like the vibe was there. It wasn't like he was just smoking a ton and he got super lazy or anything like that. He was very on point with what he did. I mean, he's used to this. This is what he does all the time. Again, he's an absolute legend, so he knows what he's doing. So we got the recording done, and it wasn't like that crazy, that session. That was, again, just to kind of feel the vibe, get used to me. I was getting used to him, that kind of thing. But we actually got in the day after as well. And then this session we were in around the same time, like in the evening. But this time he only came with a couple people. I think the first time it was just, again, just to feel the vibe, see what was going on, see what I was about, Astral, that kind of thing. So this time we got a little more like intimate and just involved with things. So I set up the same vocal chain, the U87 going into the Neve 1073, then into the Universal Audio 1176. Again, the 1176 was pretty janky. Like, it sounded good, but the meter was a little janky, I'm not gonna lie. So it was kind of hard to tell how much compression I was actually getting. And in this session, we kind of jumped right to business. We smoked a little bit at the start, got the vibe, and then got right into it. And the way Pop likes to work is how he worked with me anyways, is he goes into the booth, like he has a beat already picked out. He goes into the booth and just kind of spits like a melody. Doesn't necessarily say any words. He's just kind of like humming and hawing a melody and just kind of saying gibberish, to be totally honest. But then he comes back out, sits for a little bit, smokes for a little bit, puts words to the melody that he just kind of recorded. He'll say, hey, can you play that back? Can you play that back? Punch me in from this line. And he would just write the lyrics to it. Then he'd go into the booth and actually record what he had just written. He'd come back out and maybe do another like 8 bars or something like that, write the lyrics, jump back in, maybe do a little bit more melody, then come back out, write a bit more. So it was a really kind of back and forth method that was really cool and interesting to me as an engineer. It's either a lot of times you get people that are really locked in and they have their lyrics like just down, so they just jump in the booth and knock it out. Or you'll get people that will freestyle and do like a bar at a time or a chunk at a time. He was very in and out. Again, the melody was really important, and he's a very melodic kind of artist, right? So it makes sense. He really wanted to lock in the melody first and then kind of lock in the lyrics. So we did that, and it was really cool, and his demeanor was really cool. Again, he was super chill guy, but when he got on the mic, he was very energetic. And again, like you'd think, like just blunt after blunt, joint after joint, he'd be like super chill or super mellow, but that wasn't the case. Like when he got on the mic, it was all business, and he could like belt notes out. He could go super aggressive and energetic, but he could also go super chill at the same time. So it was really interesting to kind of see him just work in that aspect. And the one thing I will say is, you know, he's Jamaican, and thankfully throughout my whole career and through just being in Toronto, I've always kind of been around a lot of patois and a lot of Jamaican artists and that kind of thing. So understanding it, I'm pretty good at. I will say though, he didn't try to like water it down for me at all. You know, being a white guy from Canada, there were times where I really had to listen to what he was asking because the patois accent was thick. And again, he didn't try to water it down for me at all. So there were some times where I'd really have to listen or just ask. I'd be like, sorry, man, I didn't catch that. Like, sorry, what did you say again? But for the most part, I was all good. But that was kind of a funny little like thing about the session. Anyways, that's beyond the point. But the session went really well. Unfortunately, that second session, I mean, both the sessions, they went really well, but none of the songs that were recorded in either of those sessions actually got released. And that's okay. Like that happens a lot of times, especially with artists like that are in the studio and they record so much stuff that sometimes stuff just doesn't make it, and that's totally okay. But the experience that I got from that session alone was incredible. And that was still kind of earlier on in my career. I was established, but I wasn't huge at the same time. So it was a really good experience for me being in with a really kind of big name artist at the time. I mean, he's even bigger to this day, but back then it was still a really good look for me to get in with somebody like that. So yeah, really grateful for that session. It went amazing. I mean, both the sessions went well, but that second one specifically, it was really eye-opening to see kind of how he worked and that kind of thing. And just all around really good vibes. I can't say anything bad about the sessions that I've had with Pop. He's a really good dude, really talented. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So I hope that was a good story for you. Tune in for more. We got lots more, from producers to other artists I've been in with to nightmare stories that I've had in studios. So stay tuned. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next time, guys. Cheers.